Hey everyone, it's Christine with Indigo Healing, and I have the Twin Flame energy reading for the week of February 12th through the 18th. So this week I'm doing the fuller length reading. For those of you who are interested in getting a reading with me, this is one of the readings that I do offer in my website. If you're interested in getting in contact with me or getting a personal reading with me, check out the description box below. All of my information is down there. And as always, if you resonate with this reading, if it sounds like I'm talking directly to you, then I might be the reader for you. But you know, give me a like, subscribe, share the video. I love reading all of your comments. Thank you so much for them. I really appreciate all of your feedback and just the time that you take to watch the videos and you know, share your thoughts with me. It means a lot to me that I'm able to help you, and so thank you for taking the time to share that with me. This is a general reading, so if this reading does not resonate with you, that's okay. Don't worry about it. It's not the message for you. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't, and take it from there. I think that's really all I wanted to say before I get started. So interesting, when I was pulling the cards, I'm going to start talking about the reading, but the first card that comes up for the feminine, this is the card that popped out when I did the mini reading for last week. So I think it's for the week, for the dates of like February 8th through maybe the 11th. This card popped out as kind of like an overall message, and so this was the first card that came out for the feminine, and I do feel like with the energy that has been coming up a lot for the feminine, I feel like the feminine, you need to just be very cautious about, I don't want to say the conflict that you're engaging in, but I feel like there's a lot of feminine twins that are, ready to just cut everything out of their life. We have, as the clarifier, we have the Queen of Air. And so, this is about clearing away the things that no longer serve you. And I do feel like many feminine, energies are on a mission to clear away things that they think are no longer serving them. But I feel like this card is coming up as like a caution, like, take a step back and don't go crazy. Because I feel like, maybe there might be some things, just because something maybe is not serving you right now doesn't mean that down the road it might not be good for you or may not have a purpose for you or something, so just choose your battles wisely, choose your words wisely, choose your actions wisely. Don't burn your bridges. If you feel like you need to take a break from a particular person or a situation, it's okay to take a rest. It's okay to take some time away and regroup and do what you need. Not everyone and not everything needs to be cut out Queen of Swords style. So I feel like that's the message that, some of you are going to be like just left and right, feeling like you're cutting out the toxic and negative energy. Just be careful. Like, not everything necessarily falls into that needs to be cut out. So just be cautious. And just a side note, my dog is napping on the side of my chair and, you know, making the dog noises as usual. I don't know why. Maybe it's because he's a large dog. He makes extra large noises. So you may hear him. And right now he's crinkling a bunch of tissue paper. So please excuse any random doggy noises that you hear. So the next card that comes up for the feminine is control. And so I feel like the message that is coming up pretty strongly here is where are you not, like, where are you still trying to hold on to control in your life? And we're all doing this. Like, we all do this. And not just the feminine, you know, like humans do this. I am super guilty of it. I'm not great at letting go of control. I think I am, and I'm totally not. And the universe laughs at me all the time. And luckily, I'm able to laugh at myself eventually when I see where I'm being taught a lesson. But, you know, I'm a work in progress with letting go of control. And if if this is you, I'm talking to you, you know, you can be too. We're all works in progress. And I always talk about imperfect progress. You know, we're never perfect. We're never, even when we're working to improve ourselves, like, as long as we're trying, like, that's what matters. But I feel like, so with the control thing, you might think that you've let go of control of the situation. Particularly, I feel like it's in regards to the situation with your divine masculine. But this card's telling me there's something that you're still controlling something. And my gut, and this I'm saying based on conversations I've had very recently with multiple clients, like within the last week. What I'm seeing people not letting go of control over is what the outcome looks like. They're not letting go of control and attachment to the outcome, which I get. Like, there's no judgment on that at all. But that's a form of not letting go of control. Like, you're still, you know, if you're looking at, okay, here's the final scenario, here's the final picture, and it's, I end up with my divine masculine, and my divine masculine is this person. That's a form of control, because you're telling the universe how you want it to be. That's a form of control, instead of saying, I'd like this or something better. Do you know what I mean? And like, it's easy for me to say because I'm doing this video and I'm doing this reading, and it's not about me, and it's not about my life. Like, this is a general reading and I'm talking to all of you, right? Like, trust me, I understand that that's something that's way easier said than done. So I don't want you to think that, but I really feel like, you know, there's something that's deeply attached to your heart that you're still trying to control, and you don't realize it. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with being where you're at. You're at where you're at. It's where you are in the journey. It's where you're at in the process. But it's like, okay, so where do you go from here? So clarifying cards that I pulled for this control card, Justice. You're going to get through it. You're going to get past it. Everything's going to work out. It'll be fine. Like, you know, right now, like, you're at a place where you're doing what you think is right. Like, you're doing what you feel is the best thing for you. So, but it's, don't worry, like, it'll be fine. But then these 3 cards came out together. And you know how, for me, when they come out together, I feel like I kind of read them specifically together. And so what I got from this is, like, this is telling me, the 10 of Earth, is that, like, this is what you're kind of focused on. Like, this is your control, like, how you're controlling it. Like, this is your, the idea you might have stuck in your head, or this kind of represents it. It might not be your exact idea. You know, the happy family life, like, everything working out perfectly, you know, financial security and, you know, the family home, all that stuff. But it's like, what needs to happen is the awakening, where you're going to end up looking at things from a different perspective. You know, and while you're looking at things from a different perspective, you might be in a place of a pause. You know, like you may kind of see things be at a standstill in this situation, partially because you may need the break or a rest as you're kind of figuring things out, but it's because you are, you know, it's a form of awakening. Like, you're realizing how you're you know, how you actually are trying to control things. You're not, like, outwardly, like, this is all, like, in some ways, like, subconscious types of things. Like, a lot of this is stuff that you might not even be aware that you're doing. But then we have the 6 of Air, and I do feel like after that, you know, once you are at that point where you can see things from this other perspective and you're able to let go of this control, things are going to get better. You're going to be able to move on to a better place. You know, it's going to be at the end of a difficult situation for you. And I am kind of reading these, like, usually I go back and forth, but I feel like the way this is going, I'm just kind of go with it. And then for the next card for you is Balance. And so, you know, that kind of going through that process where you're able to let go of some of the control and work on that. And again, imperfect progress. It's never going to be totally perfect, but working on it, you know, learning how to manage it is going to move you into a place of balance, which is what you're striving for. You know, with this choose your battles, I feel like you're like chaotic. You know, you're not in a great place, and this is where you come into balance. And this card, Balance, it's a 14. It breaks down to a 5, which is a number of change. So I feel like you're going to be looking at, like, ways to change how you are approaching the situation. And then we have another 5. We have the 5 of Air. And I feel like you're going to be looking at this situation and saying, like, how can I learn from this? What can I learn from this? And I feel like you're going to be tweaking your approach. You know, okay, this isn't working. What might work? And I love that this card came up. You know, the 9 of Earth, the you know, focusing on the self and your career and, you know, your money and your finances and your home life, and, you know, like, just, you might be, like, single in this card, or you might, you know, just not be with your divine masculine, whatever this is, but, like, you're good. Like, this is, you being awesome on your own. Like, you're not worried about whether or not you're with another person. Like, this is you working on being complete without another person, which is what we really want, right? So the card that comes up for the Divine Masculine is find balance. So do you see how you're kind of, you're mirroring a little bit, where he's starting though, he's seeking balance, he's out of balance, and he's looking for this. And the cards that came up for him, and you can really see it right now, 9 of Air, a lot of worry and anxiety and stress. He's got a lot on his mind, and I don't know what it is that he is concerned about. I feel like there's something that has to do with, he's put a lot of work into something. We have the 7 of Earth. This is, putting hard work into something to see what comes from it down the road. I feel like he's felt like he's put effort into something and it's maybe kind of not coming together, and that he's worried about it. But then we have the Sun and the World, which to me, the Sun is about, it represents a happy outcome and success, and the World is also about, completion and a job well done. And I feel like it's, these cards are just illustrating how he's on one end of the spectrum, and what he really desires is the other end of the spectrum, and what he needs is, he's really desiring something in the middle where he can feel content. The next card is the Crown Chakra, and I'm really feeling like his intuition is going to be kicking up into high gear. And the clarifying card that I'm getting with this is the Moon, and so I'm feeling like he's going to be feeling like in a place where I feel like a lot of fears are going to be coming up for him, and because I think that he's going to be realizing that he's being held back by his fears, and I think that he's going to be having these understandings that there's a lot going on behind the scenes that he's not fully aware of, and I feel like there's going to be some opening up for him spiritually at this time, and I feel like a lot of the work that the feminine's doing in regards to letting go of control of things is going to make a huge difference in that area. Also, in the letting go of fears and releasing fears, I think it's going to take the masculine to this next point of awaiting results. I think that they're going to have this like awakening moment of realizing that they kind of need to let the feminine do their thing a little bit, and they're going to sit back and be like, okay, I'm going to wait for her to kind of figure out what she needs to figure out. Like, I think that they're going to be feeling like some of the fears and stuff that's going on when they have this Crown Chakra card come up is some of the stuff that the feminine has when she's working on letting go of control. And the card that come up as clarifiers, we have the 10 of Air. So this is a difficult situation that's going to be getting better. We have the 5 of Fire, which means there's still going to be some conflict. There's still, things aren't going to be perfect, which, yeah, I can see that. I feel like you're not going to be seeing eye to eye. The feminine's focused on herself and balance, and the Divine Masculine's going to be like, hey, like, what's going on? It's like, I feel like they know that they need to do more, but they're not sure what to do, if that makes sense. It's like I'm feeling like they know they need to give the feminine some space to do her thing, and they don't know how much is too much space to give. But then we have the Ace of Water, and this is a resurgence of a relationship. This is love coming in. So I do feel like things are going to be moving, in a more positive direction. Now, the crowning energy, I really like the cards that come up for the crowning energy. They're very interesting. We have change your focus and then feeling alone. I think both energies, both the divine feminine and masculine, are focusing way too much on this crummy feeling alone, loneliness, not being together, whatever you want to call it, even though they know the connection's there, not focusing enough on making themselves complete, focusing too much on, oh, I'm not a whole person without the other. Like, no, you're a whole person on your own, and you just enhance each other when you're together. So you guys if this is you, that you're focusing a lot on the sadness and the loneliness and the negative feelings that you have, that when you're not together and you're wallowing, that is not helping you. And these cards are both fives. Change. You need to change that and focus on other things. And the cards that came up as clarifiers, we have the Ten of Fire. So these thoughts, this focus, it is stressing you out. And this is stress that can cause health problems and it's not good for you. What you need to do, we have the Eight of Earth, focus on, studying other things. Do you have a hobby that you could check into? What are your passions? Are there other things in your career that you could look into? Like, what other things can you focus on? And then we have the Knight of Water. Doing these things, following this advice, is going to bring you that Knight of Water, bring you back to some of that romance and that passion, and bring you back to, the Knight is that need to balance your emotions. So it's going to bring you back to that place of being balanced in your emotions, which, really is something that we want to have. The grounding energy we have is nurture. And I do feel like there is this, need to nurture, our own selves. But there's also, I feel like, this need to be connected more with spirit and connecting with our intuition. And then the cards that came up as clarifiers, we have strength. And so I feel like as you work on that connection with yourself and you work on that connection with spirit, it's really going to help you in the places where you need to work on compassion and forgiveness with other people or yourself. And then it's also going to really help you. I feel like some of you are feeling very concerned about maybe being like left behind by your divine counterpart. And I feel like working on this, nurturing your connection with yourself and with spirit, it's really going to help you get past that. The underlying energy for the feminine, we have darkest fears. And I'm so not surprised that that's coming up, especially with the control card and what I talked about with that. I'm not surprised that that's here. And the clarifying card that I pulled, we have ego, fear-based and negative thinking. That is kind of what you're stuck in. And I feel like many of you are in this false sense of entrapment. And you have to know that you are not actually trapped anywhere. You have so much more control over your life than you realize. And I don't mean control, but you have a say. You have a say in your choices and what you do and what you don't do. But you need to release those negative and fear-based thoughts. And then I also feel like this being trapped, or this fear of being trapped, it's holding you back from getting the things done that you need to get done. It's holding you back from the Knight of Earth. The underlying energy for the masculine twin is seek the truth. And I feel like they're on this, I don't want to say they're on this mission, but deep down, they may not outwardly show it or act like they know it, but deep down they know that there is this thing that connects the two of you. And they're just starting to be able to pull the curtain back and understand what that is. And the clarifying card that I pulled here is the Three of Fire. And I love this card. This is the card of like being able to like sit on a hill with your, you know, like best companion in the world and just kind of like talk about your future and just patiently wait for things to come together for you. And like, you know, like everything's going really well. You just have to have patience for perfect timing and things to work out. And it's like in his head, I feel like a lot of the masculine are making long-term plans for what they'd like to see happen down the road. And then, oh, and one thing I want to mention, there are 4 cards in this spread that are 7s. So, you know, as hard as things might feel, you're on the right path. And 3 of those 7s are on the divine masculine's path. So they are definitely heading in the direction that they're supposed to be, even though it might not feel that way. And then I pulled an oracle card just as an overall energy. And I thought that this was like such an amazing card for me to pull, given a lot of the conversation that we were having. The card is the Keeper of the Scales, and this card is about fairness and balance. And this card is a 38, which breaks down to an 11. So, you know, manifestation, twin flame number. And then, so this is the message. The law of harmony is enacted when the Keeper of the Scales comes to you as an ally. Align with her, as the law states, making conscious choices that create balance in your life. When you do, you also magically align with the abundance of the universe and powerful forces of synchronicity. This creates conditions and possibilities that lead to the fulfillment of your highest intentions. Harmony begins with the self and then resonates outward to others. You're in harmony with yourself when you nurture yourself with love, respect, and acceptance, always fully taking responsibilities for your actions. Only then can you be in harmony with others. This is because love is the central force that connects all of life and aligns you with like-minded others. Another message is restoration and the positive, fair resolution in all disputes, including those involving the legal system or other important exchanges. The Keeper of the Scales is a just and kind ally, always making sure balance is activated on your path. So I felt like that was a really awesome card that just kind of wrapped everything together in terms of what we were talking about nurturing and balance, you know, and I hope that that kind of gives you an idea of why we need to be working, you know, and really comfortable and at harmony with ourselves before we can really come together in a union with another person. So I hope that this reading was helpful for you guys. I hope it resonated with you. Like I said earlier, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, please subscribe, please share, and comment below. I'd love to hear from you. And I will see you guys next week when I upload the next weekly video. Have a good week.